Chapter 24. The chapter begins talking about Leland Bechtel, which was a former MUFON state director from Maine, and Bechtel investigated many UFO incidents, and one in particular was from 1984, where there was this young couple in Detroit, Maine, on a town of Pittsfield. And during that time, the movie Ghostbusters came out, and there was like a craze, and many people went to see the movie many times. And Robert White was the person that saw the UFO, and he also was obsessed with Ghostbusters. So one time, him and his girlfriend, they planned a date night. They were gonna have a dinner and a movie. And they left Detroit, Maine, to go to the theater in Pittsfield. And they were just in the car, laughing and talking. And then Carol, which was the date, she saw an amber-colored light in the sky that seemed a little bit too bright. She was gonna tell Robert about it, but before she did, the light descended quickly. Robert saw this out of the corner of his eye, and they drove really fast, like 60 miles per hour, because they thought that it was like an airplane that crashed. They got closer, and they took a closer look at the craft, and they noticed that it was grayish in color, and it was triangular and larger than a 747 aircraft. And the craft had 4 red lights and 1 or 2 bright white lights, and it made no sound. And the object was about 150 feet above ground, and it was hovering above their vehicle. So Carol just began driving fast to get away with it, to get away from it. And as they were driving away from the craft kept following to the left side of the car. Out of the right side of the car, Robert saw that there was a farmhouse, and he told Carol to drive up to the driveway of the farmhouse. They got to the driveway, and they stopped, and the thing was that when they were driving, the UFO kept following them, and when they stopped, the UFO also stopped, so they couldn't shake it. They couldn't shake it off. So they got to the driveway, and they got out of the car, and they began running. And as this was happening, a car approached the main road. And then they saw that the UFO started moving slower, and it was hovering over a nearby field. And they got the feeling that the UFO was trying to hide from the second car that was coming in the road. And after that, the craft vanished, like it disappeared, like it just evaporated out of thin air. The couple got back into their car, and they hoped that the UFO did not return, which it didn't. They went back home, but they were shaken. Then the investigator contacted the owners of the farmhouse, and he said that they were about to call the police when they saw the couple get off their property. And the owner of the farmhouse thought that there were kids just horsing around, and that he did not see any UFOs. Bishop also contacted the Bangor airport, and they said that there were Boeing 747s flying around, but they were like 6,000 feet in the sky. The investigator Bishop found that Robert was a believable person, that he was like a trustworthy, honest person that could be believed. Robert was a sophomore at the University of Maine, and the investigator also spoke to his family. And something odd was that Robert's family also had encounters. Robert's brother, he was 11, he told his parents that he saw a large bright object in the sky in his home in Pittsfield. And Robert's father said that while he was doing yard work, he saw a light streak across the sky. And the chapter ends saying that the investigator had confidence in the account of the story,